Hello, Taylor County. I'm Alex Renneman, and I'm here with Melissa Garvin, running for Board of Education. Melissa, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm an import to Taylor County. I married a local boy, and I love it here. We had the opportunity to move, and we chose to stay here because of everything that we can have here that we can't have in a big city. Fresh air, lots of space, good, fun things to do. So I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, I'm a concerned citizen, I am a lifelong learner, and I am passionate about making sure that our kids have as many opportunities as I can, because it's a great big world.
Great. So tell us a little bit about, we all have an idea what the Board of Education is, but from your perspective, what does the Board of Education do here for the Taylor County folks?
I feel like the Board of Education is responsible for the financial part. It's a lot of money that goes into educating our children, the upkeep of those buildings, the safety of those buildings. Making sure that that money is spent in a fiscally responsible manner is paramount. Making sure that we have a strategic plan so that our kids can move forward, and not just 6 months or a year out, but 5, 10, 15 years out. What do we want to be doing for our kids? Those are the two top things. After that, it's the day-to-day stuff. How do we make our schools safer? How do we keep our kids here? How do we embolden them so that they are willing and ready to explore and still feel like this is a really wonderful place to be and they're not having to run away?
Yeah. Give us an example of something maybe in your experience or your past or history or a challenge you've had that you feel has equipped you to be a great leader in our county on the Board of Education.
I spent a little over 10 years touring. So I lived on a bus and we toured with Broadway style shows. That put us in communities all over the country. Sometimes we were in a high school. Sometimes we were in a huge theater. I have experience with people of all backgrounds, education levels, financial or economic levels, all ages. Watching those people struggle with certain pieces and then come together to create this final product. Big picture thinking with individual empathy and understanding, I think, is something that I can bring a different perspective on.
Great. So if the people at Taylor County decide to put you as just select you as their board member, what is your number one priority going in?
My number one priority going in is making sure that we're transitioning our STEM and our STEAM across the board, and not just keeping it to the high school kids, but bringing in our younger kids, making sure that they understand not only these hard science moments, not that they're hard, but math, science, engineering, those things are considered very technical, but that they also have the soft skills that they learn early, the teamwork and the hard work and how you have to follow through, and how those things are valuable not just to an employer or to a college, but to you as a human.
Yeah. And a side note, just for folks, so STEAM is science, technology, engineering, math, or if it's STEAM, it's STEAM. Arts, math. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great. So, but let's go further with that then. So, okay, you've been elected, you served a term, maybe multiple terms, whatever it is. When you decide to finally lay down your I don't know what they give, gavel badge, whatever it is, but you finally said, okay, I'm done serving on the board, I'll go do something else. What do you want your legacy to be?
Wow, legacy. I think that I would really like people to say, she gave everybody an opportunity. She helped make sure that all of our kids got to dream, that when all of those things are said and done, we feel like our kids are better.
Okay, great. When you look at the county, again, you've been here long enough now. You got an eyeball for what's happening here. What do you see as our biggest challenge, either as a county and certainly from an educational perspective?
I think from an educational perspective, we struggle, and I think we feel a little bit small. And we're not. But the idea of getting out into the big world can be scary, and so if we can make that less scary, if we can say, it's okay to go farther than Bridgeport, it's okay to go farther than Pittsburgh, and still come home. I wasn't prepared to feel home here, and it's the first place I've ever felt like, yep, I belong here.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that. Kind of as you know, we polled the citizens of Taylor County for questions and what interests do they have or what do they want to hear about candidates running for certain offices, and certainly the school board was not short of any questions and interest. One of the things that has come up, and we were at an event the other night, you were there as well, and I know you heard, they'd asked one of the students there, he was a freshman, and they said, do you feel safe in schools? And his response was, sometimes. And I think the whole room just, and I don't think that's probably not a unique perspective. I think that's kind of out there, and it's out in the world. We see it all the time. Right. We've been fortunate in our education system, but as a board member, what kind of proactive thing? What can we be doing to, and what can you do as a board member to help ensure that his answer next time or another student's answer next time is, I feel safe all the time. It's a safe place for me at school.
Right. I think that there are a lot of options out there. I know that currently they're exploring the idea of not just rekeying, but electronic keys, so that it's easier to keep tabs on which doors are open and things like that. That's a logical first step in my world. I think probably teaming with the health department or getting some additional counselors, not to try to single kids out, like, ooh, you might be a problem, because that's not what we want to do. But so that the kids have somebody who isn't a friend, isn't mom and dad, that they can go to and say, I'm not sure how to deal with this in a non-judgmental way, is something that we need to help implement. The idea of metal detectors, I know lots of schools use them. I don't know about the logistics there. And then it's just, I know they're adding cameras. I think that's awesome. Do we have the personnel to monitor those cameras all the time? I'm not sure. I know that the gentleman who's out of Buchanan has got the remote stuff and can do all that, but I'm not sure that there is an easy answer, and I know that it's going to take a lot of evolution of ideas because our kids change all the time. So as they start to sort of decide what feels safest for them, we have to be willing to say, yeah, that's an idea we can implement, or no, that's not going to do. But keeping the balance between what is safe and what is still pro-education, still going to create an environment where our kids want to learn and can learn, is paramount. Because if they feel like they're going to jail, like everything gets searched and they can only wear certain, then they're not going to want to learn. And then we're going to have a problem with them not coming to school. So the balance there is so tricky and critical, and it's going to take more than just one person.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think if you were in West Virginia, you'd have to be living under a rock to not know about the work stoppage that happened earlier this year. And in fact, as we see around the nation, folks paid attention to what happened in West Virginia, and they've obviously, we're seeing some states do take the similar playbook. So just seeing that, now they did get, there's a pay raise, the PEIA task force is engaged. From your perspective, where do we go next? What's your perspective on that, first of all, and then where do we go next? How do we improve? Because we still, educationally, as a state, and certainly our county isn't at the top of West Virginia either. So what can we do, and what do you plan to do as a board member to try to help us get there?
I think that we need to, as a board, create a little more communication and a little more transparency with our parents, so that we can get the parents involved, because plenty of studies have shown that the more the parents are involved, whether that's helping Johnny with his homework or just saying, you got this, let's go, kids do better. And I think where I hear a lot of people say, oh, so-and-so doesn't have a lot of support at home, or we see a lot of parents who can't help their kids. So what can we do to help the parents help the kids? How can we make education not just about what happens inside those walls? How can we make that a whole life process? And I don't know, I mean, maybe it's running a seminar where we teach the parents how to help the kids with the math homework, because the math isn't the same as from when I was in school and you were in school, or my parents were in school. It's different. So how do we make sure that the idea is being communicated properly?
And you bring up kind of, it really was my next question, and you've already covered it, but the point, I think, I always want to bring this up, and it's almost beating a dead horse. Engagement is a two-way street, and there's a lot of people who are saying, hey, we want more transparency, we want engagement, we want communicated, but that takes two to have that. So obviously the board could put these things on, but parents have to be engaged, they have to want to be engaged,
right.
and so that's really important. I'm glad you covered that. One of the things that another real pretty clear theme that was coming, and we see it in the state, we see it across the nation, is workforce readiness. So it's, for years it was college prep, but now there's a lot more say, hey, maybe everybody shouldn't go to college, and not that everybody was saying go to college, but for the most part that was the unifying message from the education system. Now it seems to be turning to that, hey, maybe we need more workers that are ready to come out and go to a technical school or some kind of trade and be trained. What's your perspective on that?
I don't think everybody needs to go to college. I think that everybody needs to understand the value of hard work, whether that means you have like a regular minimum wage job or you're a CEO. You're putting in the hard work. When you do the work well, it feels good. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in technical theater. I worked in that field for over 20 years. I am still a stagehand occasionally. I went back to school, to what might be considered a technical school, to get a degree in massage therapy, because I looked at it and said, Grafton maybe doesn't need a stagehand, but Grafton does need a massage therapist. I can do that. So the idea of being ready to work, working with your hands is awesome. The idea of going to a technical school, going to do all of those things. Whenever you feel good about what you're doing, you do it better, and it comes through in the work. And then people want to come back to you. So if you like being a mechanic, that makes you a better mechanic. That brings more people in, and now you have a flourishing business. If you like being an accountant, go to college, become an accountant, be a rock star accountant, and whatever. And I think the more opportunities we can provide our kids, the more they can say, oh, I like being a carpenter. I want to be a graphic designer. I want to be a police officer. Those opportunities, you can say, okay, now I'm ready. I understand the idea of process. I understand the idea of hard work. Let's go.
Great. Well, Melissa, as customary on this program, that we offer you the last word. What is it you'd like to tell the people of Taylor County?
I'm here. I have been here for almost 10 years. I have 2 small children. I have a vested interest in all of our kids doing well. I want to communicate. I want to move forward, and I want to help make Grafton and Taylor County a wonderful, wonderful place to be. As you see my signs around, and you won't see a lot of them, you'll notice that they are reduce, reuse, recycle, because campaigning is expensive. And we're asking our teachers to reduce, reuse, recycle in their classrooms with their materials, and I thought, let's do that. So
great.
That's what I've got.
Melissa Garvin, Taylor County Board of Education.
Hey,
thanks for coming.
Thank you, Beth, so
Good luck.
much. Thanks.